Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Alita Williams, president of the Rotary Club of Chicago, and I'd like to open our 5,703rd meeting. And with that, if Pancho would come up and do the thought of the day.
When I look at this four-way test, the first Rotary motto that I ever heard was in Spanish, and it was give of self before thinking of self. That's the Rotary motto that I grew up with. And just being so close to June the 6th, D-Day, which is supposed to occur June 5th, with by hook or by crook, the weather was better on June 6th. As a consequence, figures say that 133,000 men were involved. Some figures say 160,000. There were about 11,000 casualties. There were 6,000 ships, 50,000 vehicles, and 11,000 planes. We owe a debt of gratitude to the people who were in D-Day. They gave of themselves. We give of what we have plenty. They give of what they have little, which is oneself.
Thank you. Okay, so we have some great volunteer opportunities that are coming up. We have on June 17th for Snow City Arts, where we put together art kits for students, for children who are hospitalized for art therapy. And then a Spectrum Sailing on June 18th through the 20th. So if you want to work with children that learn sailing for children on the autism spectrum. And then we have the Jesse White Trunk Party, July 12th and 13th. On the 12th, we pack all of the trunks that go out, and then on the 13th, we give them all away. So it's a really great opportunity to be a part. And we also help us earn cash for the club by being at the Square Roots Music Festival, July 12th through the 14th. I'll be volunteering on the 14th, so whoever wants to come out and hang out with me, I'm gonna be a cashier at the beer tent, just to let you know. Yeah, what I like to do, alcohol. But we need to register. We need 10 people, Sarah? We need 10 people to get money back, and we have 3. So come on, club, let's get it together and go out and register for that event. If you have any questions, Shannon can help you with that and get you a link. And then with that, unfortunately today, I'm sorry, it's not on here. Well, I was supposed to talk about the other CSC grants. We have the Blues Kid of the Year, Fernando Jones Bloomcap in June, and the Still Point Theater Collective. So they do theater classes for senior citizens that we are also a part of. Today, unfortunately, David was not able to make it here with us today. But we do have our wonderful new member, and really she's a long-term member. She just took forever to transfer her membership from another club. Jennifer Lennon is going to be our speaker today from the ADL. Always remember to take everyone's time, keep our questions succinct, 1 per person. We will take questions at the end. I do believe we may have only 1 microphone today, so we got it. Okay, never mind. And so with that, Jennifer Lennon.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be back here again with Rotary One. For those who have not met me, my name is Jennifer Lennon. I am the philanthropy officer for the Anti-Defamation League U.S. Central Division. That is 17 states in our division, making up the central portion of the United States. Our agency serves all 50 states within the United States of America, but we also have international headquarters as well. As Alita mentioned, I will be filling in for David today. I hope I am not too much of a disappointment, but I'll do my best to fill in. So I'd like to start off with just a little bit of information about me. I am rather new to the Anti-Defamation League. I come to the agency as a lifelong social justice advocate. I come from generations of civil rights activists, lawyers, law enforcement, law officials. I spent my entire childhood working with the Native Americans, and my entire adult career I have worked with the marginalized communities, not just in Chicagoland, but all over the United States. So it is a dream come true to represent this agency at this moment in time in US history. So I'd like to start off with the current state of hate and anti-Semitism. Very, very heavy words. Am I not? Oh, I'm sorry. I have to click forward. I'm sorry, friends. I am not the most technically inclined. Thanks. There we go. So we are nearly as old as Rotary. The Anti-Defamation League, for those who are unfamiliar with our agency, we were founded in 1913. Our mission today remains the exact same one as we opened up our doors to, is to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to ensure justice and fair treatment for all. The areas that we specialize in, we are the world experts, the leading experts in anti-hate. So what areas do we cover? We cover anti-Semitism, bigotry, bias, and discrimination in all forms, extremism, and cyber hate. Those last two issues are very prevalent in our world at the moment, so very hot button issues of which we are at the front lines in the forefront of these issues. So how do we fight? We investigate and research. In 2015, post 9/11, we opened up the Center on Extremism. We have brought together the best and brightest minds in the world and in the United States to work alongside law enforcement, the FBI, the US Department of Homeland Security, and the White House to serve as advisors. Our agency takes our information we have gathered based upon extremist incidents and incident reports, and we provide that to the necessary law officials of where those areas are relevant. It is a 24/7 job, and I cannot stress enough how important the work is that my colleagues that work at the Center of Extremism, how hard they work, how diligently they work, and how much they love, treat, and remain committed to our mission. We advocate and assist. We regularly work with law officials, not just at the state and local regions, but also at the US region, and we also serve as advisors internationally when asked to. We are very much a part of policy right now that is being put into law. We are putting forth efforts, unprecedented efforts, to make sure that our policies as a country reflect a very hard stance on anti-hate in all of its forms. You would think in a brilliant, beautiful country like the United States that we would have those policies already in place, but we are doubling down extremely hard to make sure that those policies are accepted in every state and eventually one day in the US Constitution. We educate and train. We have a beautiful education program. We have some of the best, I'll say it again, the best and the brightest that work in education. They educate adults at the corporate level or at the secular level. They also train elementary, collegiate level, and secondary education in the importance of anti-hate. What is hate speech? What is a stereotype? what is acceptable language to use, what is not acceptable language to use, and just walking them through how to be an advocate for social change and just be a responsible a citizen of this planet and of the United States. We litigate. I'm so excited to welcome Bob from the Ponte Vedra Club in Florida. He is also representing the law firm, ironically, that is partnering with us to bring a class action complaint against Columbia University and the anti-Semitic violence and harassment that was very prevalent in the news a few weeks past. The last 7 years, and this is no news to no one, the last 7 years have been like anything we have experienced in a generation. Not just our agency, but our country, our world. I just want us to reflect on this picture for a moment. I'm sure this is a familiar picture. I saw this in the news a few years back. These are relatively ordinary American citizens. A lot of these people in this picture look like they could be your neighbor or someone who attends your church. They could be your children's elementary school teacher. They could be someone that you wouldn't think 2 minutes about other than just saying hello and waving to them on the street. And yet they're embroiled in a hate demonstration and utilizing hate speech. And their eyes are filled with rage and anger. And I think that just reflects the dangerous time that we're living in, this very disturbing moment in our world's history, that everyday American citizens feel compelled to act out in this way. And here's some other photos that are, many of these you have seen, and unfortunately there's too many like them in the news, aren't there? Here you see just about every race, gender, ethnicity, and background represented in the United States. There's an amalgam of pictures here, but some are standing up for their individual rights or protesting invasion of individual rights, and some are expressing hatred. So obviously, this is a very trying time in our country. These are ordinary American citizens. A lot of them feel marginalized. A lot of them are spreading hate. And just in the interest of time, I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit. But as you can see, none of that is news to anyone, right? We've all seen these images. These are ordinary Americans. Very scary, very sad to see. And I'm sorry, I'm going backward. I meant to land on this. Okay. So according to a national poll with PBS NewsHour, they asked the very important questions. Do Americans have to resort to violence to get the country back on track? So why is this question being asked? Because outsiders looking in on what's happening in the United States via our news channels and mostly social media feel that's our only resort. They feel that America is on fire right now. And yes, of course, many of us feel that's what's happening. But when they polled national adults in the United States, you can see the percentages. Do you strongly agree or disagree that the US has to resort to violence to get the country back on track? The majority of adults that were polled, no. So let's split that down a little bit. Right now, we're at a tense time in our country where everybody wants to talk what side of the table are you on. They want to talk the different parties and voting adults. So let's look at this. Of the Democrats that were polled, 87% disagreed with that statement. Okay, great. Our independents and Republicans, let's look at that, 70%, 82%. So while we're talking about very divisive language in our country right now, and the world is getting this impression from the extremists that are talking about us and that are acting out in the media, they have this idea that we are very split. And a lot of us in this room, okay, we'll agree that we're split. We feel split, right? But when it comes to this issue, you can't ignore the facts. We don't agree with this. So what on earth is happening right now? Yes. Skip through that. So let's talk about hate crime statistics in the United States over a 20-year time span. So we're going from 2001 to 2020. Believe me, the statistics of the last 2 years are daunting, but for now, I'm just going to share this information for you. And this is based on our collaborative work with the FBI in reporting and then also with the Center on Extremism. And as you can see, the levels were never where they should be. As Rotarians, we can all agree they should be at 0 and should not even be charting. Like, let's have them in negative numbers in our perfect world. It's disgusting to even have to look at this. But as you can see, there's a severe uptick in 2001. No news to anyone post 9/11. And the numbers have decreased a little bit here and there in off years, but it remains at more or less a consistent level. And then you get to 2020, the global COVID-19 pandemic. Again, no news to anyone that we have an uptick in hate crimes. So who are we talking about when we're including these statistics on hate crimes? And we've broken that information down for you a little bit. This is based on FBI reporting race-based trends. And I caution us all as citizens of this planet, as Rotarians, when you look at this graph, I encourage you not to take away from this graph of, okay, well, based on this information, these people aren't okay, but everybody else at the bottom and who have consistent markings and scales, they're okay. I mean, it's all right. None of this information that I'm presenting to you today is okay. I want you to remember that this is based on reports from the FBI. This is based on those who reported. I know I am not speaking out of turn when I say there are some of us in this room who have been victims of hate crimes, and how many of us have reported them? How many of us felt that we were in a safe space to report it? And that, of course, is the truth that we are dealing with right now. As you can see, it's news to no one what's happening to our African Americans here in the United States. Not news. But look at some of these other populations and marginalized societies. No one should be charting here. I'm very disappointed that what's being represented here, and it's the only data we have available, the Native American Indians, they obviously do not feel like they can report. There is, if you've paid attention to the news, there is a record number of Native American and Indigenous women, children, female children, who disappear regularly out in the American West and Southwest, and it's not reported. And blind eyes have been turned to law enforcement all over the United States, and it's not talked about enough in our country. So anyone who is on this chart, our Asian American Pacific Islanders, our Latinx Hispanic community, it looks like it's consistent, but that is not a good thing. No one should be charting, and that is our goal with the Anti-Defamation League. We want to make it so disturbing and so disgusting, this idea of hating one another for differences, that we won't see this in 10 to 20 years. To add another layer of frustration here, because I know this is a heavy conversation, but we've broken that down then into religion-based trends. And this is, again, is the 20-year research. We've broken up several religions, and these are just the ones that we have information readily available on. Anti-Sikh, anti-Hindu, anti-Jewish, anti-Islamic, anti-Protestant, anti-Catholic. It's all there, and none of it is okay. But look at the surge. And this is news to no one, because we pay attention to the news, we're on social media, we see what is happening, and we just can't argue with the data. We absolutely reflect this opinion that the United States is on fire. One hot button term that's being used in the news a lot is anti-Semitism. Now, there's a lot of information out in the world about what anti-Semitism is, and right now, it's unfortunate that we go through trends in this country, don't we? Where, and during whatever is happening in the world, or what's happening in the neighborhood, or what's happening in a localized regional area, we focus on one area or another, and hate surges for one community versus the next. ADL, unfortunately, we spend an enormous amount of time right now on anti-Semitism because of what is happening in the news today. And in case you're not really familiar with the term, we've defined it for you here. And just take a moment to read that. I can. It says anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. This is over the last 7 years, just so you can get an idea of where we stand on the incident reportings. There's an enormous increase, and this is just what's being reported. We encourage anyone who's experiencing a hate crime of any sort to report to us immediately. And when it comes to anti-Semitic incidents, unfortunately, we are at a record high of 8,873 incident reports. And that's a 139% increase since 2022. So we've had a dramatic increase even in the last couple of years. Again, that's not news to anybody. And since 2014, that's 873% increase. Very daunting if you think about it. I'm just going to skip forward for a little bit. If you'd like to see more information about anti-Semitic incidents in Illinois and in the Midwest, we do have that information available to you on our website. But as you see, it's not great news. And this is just some of the local things that we have seen in the news and on campuses and on religious institutions. I'm going to skip through this a little bit, just in the interest of time. As you can see, the numbers are staggering. All right, so we have action items. If you're like a Rotarian like myself, I'm sure you're sitting watching the news thinking, what can I do? This is ridiculous. You know, we feel helpless. We have the people who, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You know, we have a lot of extremists out there that just find delight in spreading hate, agitating, creating chaos, spreading misinformation. And it's creating a lot of fear, and it's creating a lot of violence. It's inciting a lot of violence. So what do we advise people to do? Speak out. Let's say somebody says something that's distressing and hateful, or just in a conversation, when you're out with your friends and someone says something that in the pit of your stomach, you think to yourself, oh, this isn't right, this is towing the line, but oh, I'm not gonna say anything because this is an awkward moment, I don't wanna embarrass them. Just take a moment and say, man or lady, that's just not right. Can we just stay away from that rhetoric right now? This is a really hard time. We just encourage you to do that because it starts in the home, it starts with our friends, it starts with us. So that's number one. Number two, please share facts. We see a lot of people out there that are spreading information, calling it facts, using the overused term of fake news. Oh my goodness. If someone is speaking out about something that's happening on the opposite side of the world and bringing those issues to the United States, please don't listen to them if they can't locate that country in specific on the map. Use your please just use common sense. You know, if you have a problem with something that's going on across the ocean, okay, just if you can't find it on the map, we can't listen to you. Just, use your common sense. Okay, let's be educated here. If it feels weird, if it feels wrong, likely is. Don't ignore your instincts as common, sensible people. And I cannot stress enough. Ignore it, meaning report it to ADL, share it, report it to your local law officials. Do not share it amongst your friends and give it attention, even if it's absurd. And the human tendency is, can you believe this, Joker? Can you believe what they're saying? That's factually incorrect. We are fanning the flames by sharing their information. What we need to do is to direct our attention to the facts and the beautiful things that are happening right now in the world. We need to turn the volume down on their microphone, and I'm speaking about the extremists. I'm not, we're not infringing upon free speech or opinions. We're talking about the extremists who right, spreading lies. How you can help is please share the facts. And most importantly, show strength. Believe in yourself. This is the time. We all, as Americans, as citizens of this planet, every generation goes through a moment in time where they just have to speak up and say something and just show strength and solidarity. And this is the moment. If someone is being hurt in front of you, if someone is being slandered, and it may be in a humorous moment where you think it's funny, but it's gathering a lot of attention, just show strength. Believe in yourself, believe in your instincts, and say this is not okay. Because even saying this is not okay is enough. And I just want to alert your facts. This is what we put our big bets on. Our Center on Extremism is our crown jewel. I can't express enough to you how much we utilize this tool in reporting hate incidents of all kinds. I encourage you to visit our website, adl.org, where you will find the current, we call it the heat map. Incidents that are reported to us are instantaneously marked out on a map in the entire world with the exact specifics of location, time it occurred, and the type of incident it was. Brilliant stuff. Center for Technology and Society. We have incredibly brilliant young people who spend all day, every day tracking these cyber events, and they work with technology to thwart anything that is hate-related. We are particularly proud that through our Center for Technology and Society, there is a problem right now with video games that utilize headphone and communication systems around the world. That is where the extremists are finding the youth. A very popular game platform that they target youth has been Call of Duty. Our advocates and our friends at Call of Duty, we have worked together, and we have now worked with them on how to get hate signs, speech, anything that is derogatory that is used in their games, how to flag them, not represent them, and how to flag extremists and terrorists that are acting as children on those platforms but are really adults. And we have a Center for Anti-Semitism Research. If you're ever curious about what that means, if you're someone who's new to the history of anti-Semitism around the world, we have a really lovely center that gives you a great history. And so if you feel you need further information to understand the side of the argument, we encourage you to check it out. And I'm just going to skip through this for a minute. We do have corporate training, and I'll leave you today with all of the resources that we have available. We have a bounty of lesson plans in the corporate world. We do train corporate staff on how to be inclusive. We work with their DEI staff. We work with their ERGs, their employee resource groups, to educate everyone on our anti-Semitism today. Why is there a refugee crisis in Ukraine? These are just some of the hot issues that we're dealing with right now. And what is critical race theory, and why is it in the news so much? We also, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue reading it. Oh, we have a really great book list, beautiful information available. If you just want a really great read about any hate issue in the United States, check out our book list. Also, we have anti-bias bullying strategies, table talk for families. If you're unsure how to talk to your children or your young adults about what they're facing in the world today, we give advice to parents on how to speak about what is hate and what's hateful, what's acceptable, what's not, and how to teach others to be respectful citizens. And then we have webinars and podcasts constantly, and we also go straight to the classroom. So this is 24 hours for us, 7 days a week. Unfortunately, we're working in an unprecedented time, so I wish I could say that we're not drained and exhausted, but we are. But every opportunity that we have to talk about the resources that we have available and our agency's mission is a joy and a privilege. So I want to thank all of you for giving me a few moments to talk about the work that we do. I'm happy to meet with anyone afterwards. I'd love to give you my business card. And any other follow-up information that you'd like, I'm happy to direct you to the right resources. And Alita, do we have time for questions? How many? Just a couple or 2 or 3? Okay,
I
great.
have a question.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I'm going to look at this from a different perspective, okay? And sort of jumping off from what you just said about teaching others to be respectful citizens. So in Chicago, everyone's familiar with the Mexican Independence Day and the teen takeovers, both of which make a lot of people feel unsafe. And so I'm going to talk particularly about the Mexican Independence Day takeover. And I think it was a year or 2 ago, it was a Sunday, which meant it had already been going on for 3 days, 2 days. Sunday would have been the 3rd day. And I approached a police officer. And I said, because I don't feel safe. They shoot off fireworks near our home, which is near a bunch of trees. They're very loud up like all hours, and everybody knows, right? Everybody knows. And so I asked a police officer, I said, why does this keep happening for 3 days? Why can't anything be done to bring this under control? I mean, the whole city comes to a stop, right? And he said, the ACLU got involved and we can't do anything.
Oh my goodness.
That's what he said.
Huh.
And so I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that was
Right.
the perception. And then last year, there was a police officer stationed on our corner, on our intersection. I kind of asked the same thing, right? And it was the same type of response. And so I just wonder what the balance is between law enforcement and having civilians feel safe in times like that, and the ACLU, because he specifically called out the ACLU got involved and we can't do anything. That was his response.
Oh, I'm sorry that was your experience. And I know a lot of us who were stuck in the city that night. Oh, Leda. We remember that was a very tough 3-day weekend, wasn't it? And I'm so sorry that was your experience, and you're not alone. And unfortunately, I can't speak to about the ACLU. Unfortunately, I wasn't working with ADL at that time, so I'm happy to dig in a little bit and get some more information for you, and I'll pass it along. But I can tell you right now, what we're facing is we do work very diligently with local law officials, also at the regional level and the national level. I can say quite transparently that this is an unprecedented level of hate. It's completely unanticipated, and law officials, the ADL, and organizations like the ADL were grossly unprepared. The sinisterness behind it, the support that is found through social media and social networks to make these type of events organized and more dangerous is actually a thing. It's happening, and we're seeing the effect of it. So we're coming at this from behind. We are utilizing all of our resources at the moment in our education and resources. Our law enforcement area of our agency right now is overwhelmed with all of the work, but they remain passionate and committed to training our law enforcement on how to prevent incidents like that in the future and how to speak about what they're experiencing. You know, Sarah should not have experienced, and others like Sarah should not go up to law enforcement and say, I don't feel safe. And to receive an answer like that, it should never be that. First of all, you know, it should be a compassionate response, an informed response. And our officers in whatever city you are in the United States should be prepared to deal with incidents like that. And unfortunately, our state right now, and I mean our state of hatred, is out of control, and we're behind. So we're making up for lost time. And I really hope in the near future that we can catch up to it, and I can have very demonstrative information for you and statistics to show that we are combating this issue and it's working. But I'm really glad you said that today, Sarah, and spoke up about it, because there are too many incidents like this that happen. And I can tell you, we are aware of them at ADL, and we're doing everything we can to start and to facilitate change and to inspire change. But we have a big battle ahead of us. We do. And Sarah speaking up today is to start the conversation is a really great step forward. So thank you, Sarah.
So on that same note of conversation.
Yeah.
Do you, in your strategies, ever work to bring different sides together? I mean, you know, that's what happens to all of us, that there's a, you know, control of the narrative, and sometimes it's weighted one way or the other. And also, we know darn well there's organizations and terrorism that are infiltrating that and then taking over that narrative. But I think the more that organizations like yours hopefully work on bringing the sides, and there's more than two, together to have those conversations, and then that becomes part of the outreach and education, to be speaking together, that it's not, you know, this just isn't simple, but there can be some communication. So do you, in your strategies, work on any of that? I think the more that happens, it helps all of us.
Absolutely. Since our founding, we have always participated in two-side conversations. It's now become known as Peace Talks, and I'm so excited Bob is here because his law firm is working with us in finding resolution between the events that happened at Columbia University. And so we are advising the law firm and we are advising the universities to bring together the students, the faculty, and other folks that were involved in this crisis to sit and talk it through. Before anything goes to the court, before there's any kind of reparations or there's any kind of being held accountable for those events that transpired, we're gathering them together using our model of peace talks, which we do regularly. We do them on university campuses, we do them within community centers, we do them at the White House, we do them at government agencies, we do them at the state legislative levels, you name it. We've been doing it for over 100 years, and I'm just really excited that we're taking that model and using it to work through this campus crisis that we're seeing right now. That does need to be the message. Yes, again, we have to turn down the volume on the extremists and we need to promote these sorts of things. So ADL, we promote everything we do quite regularly, but we're not the squeaky wheel and it doesn't get the attention that it could. So one way you could ally and support us if you feel so moved to do so is just share that information to whomever is interested in hearing it. Thank you, Nancy.
All right, this is our last question.
Last one, huh?
No pressure.
Regarding the strategies, though, for the ADL, are you like are there like a certain priorities in terms of like what fields you kind of focus on? Do you focus on say like cyberbullying or like when it comes to education CRT or let's say like discriminatory hiring practices or safety and security with in relation to law enforcement? Is there like there's so many so many areas can be defined as like
Yes.
hate or extremism. Though, like where do you focus on? What do you prioritize and focus on?
Excellent question. And I'm sorry, I think I missed your name. What's your name? Richard, a pleasure. Thank you for that question. The answer is yes. We put a heavy focus on all of them. The Anti-Defamation is we have 400 employees, and that is not nearly enough. And everyone is up to their eyes in their field of expertise. So I focus on working with our constituents and stakeholders and fundraising, whereas someone like David, who's going to be here today, focuses a lot on the policy and legislative place. We have entire departments and divisions that focus on litigations and other areas of law, and that's even broken up into further divisions. Is that something that is at the corporate level? Is that something that's at an organizational level? Is it at a religious institution? So on and so forth. And then, we have an entire division dedicated to law enforcement, and even that, as you all know, can be broken down into several different areas. And then does that include also would that include the National Guard during really extreme situations? And so we really do focus on any area you could think of. Cyberbullying, we have a huge task force on them right now just because it's a hot button issue. But we do put literally all of our resources into that, and it's all under the umbrella of programming. It's a part of our heart and soul. And so I can't stress enough how exhausted we are and overwhelmed, but it is a privilege to serve. And if you'd like some more information, especially pertaining to Richard's question, I highly encourage you, again, please visit the website. They do break it down. And then you can always go to our information center, send questions, request more materials, and we are happy to go even further in depth for that. So again, thank you all so much. Thank you for being Rotarians, and have a wonderful week.
Okay. There you go.
She did something.
So once again, I want to thank you for stepping in for us today. I appreciate it. Here's a wonderful Rotary Club of Chicago cup, and you'll get some cookies in the mail from Al's Cookie Mix. We're supporting Al Cookie Mix this year. He started a cookie company to support his son and his friends. So once they age out of the system with autism, out of CPS, for adults with special needs, they have a place to work and be able to support themselves. And if you go to that QR code, you save 10%, I believe, on your own cookies, and they're the best cookies because you get to pick everything that goes in your cookie mix. You get to pick your base and all your ingredients, and it's pretty awesome. And so, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we have some visiting Rotarians in the room. So we have a visiting international Rotarian. You can introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi everybody, my name is Sashko Andonov. I'm coming from Macedonia, from the Rotary Club Kočani Vinica. I'm the past president of the club last year, so I'm spending this year traveling around.
Thank you. And then we have two visiting U.S. Rotarians.
Good afternoon. I'm Robert Steinberg. I'm currently president of the Rotary Club of Northeast Chicagoland Passport, District 6440, International Service Chair. I've worked with Dick Galitz on some international projects. It's the first time I've been to this meeting since before COVID, so I was surprised at how small you got attendance, just like the rest of the Rotary world. But anyways, I came down to hear this presentation today, and I really enjoyed visiting with you guys.
Thank you. And Bob?
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Wiltfong. I served as president of my club the same time you did. So I feel your pain and your joy at the same time. I'm with the Rotary Club of Ponte Vedra in Florida. We're just south of Jacksonville, where the PGA Tour is headquartered. So if you ever want to play golf, we're a good club to contact. And I have a banner from our club that I would love to exchange with your club.
We'll do a flag exchange after the meeting.
Okay, but it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you. So today, at the end of the meeting, we're having a membership meeting. So if anyone would like to stay, please stay. We want to get your input on what you think we should do next, how you want to see your club grow, what more things you think we can do for membership. So Nancy and Andrew, raise your hands. Yep. Yeah. And next Tuesday, we have our club assembly, our closing club assembly, in which every committee is going to talk about one great highlight that they had for the year. Job one, we're having a student that we actually helped sponsor to go to Ghana. He's going to come in and speak about his trip from Ghana and how much, he appreciates our help in helping him go with his school. His school did their first international trip, and he was a part of that, and we were able to help because he was one of our Job one students last year. Our CPS Opportunity Grant recipients will be here to talk about what they're going to do with those grants that we were able to help them with. So this is a great time to learn about the club, to learn about all that we do, and to join a committee at the meeting. And then on June 20th, we have a club reunion. So we're gonna get together at Joy District. You can register on our calendar, and just let's get back together, have a reunion, learn, see who all the new people are. All of our wonderful seasoned members can come back out and, let's interact and get to know each other and have a little fun, not around the meeting. So I think it'll be great. And then the next week, Sarah's installation. So we want to pack the room. So everybody register. Our district governor and our incoming Rotary International president-elect will be here for that installation. And I get the great pen of past president that day. But I'm so looking forward to this event. It's going to be awesome, and I want you all to be here. It will be here at the Union League Club on the 25th. Happy Dollars, starting July 1st, I believe it's supposed to say. Was it? Yeah, it's supposed to say July 1st. Oh. Surprise. Okay, so Our deadline to register is Friday at 11 o'clock because Friday at 12 o'clock, we have to let the union lead know how many members we're going to have at an event. And as much as we love you all, especially our regular Rotarians and our members, and this is only for our members, if you register after 11 o'clock on Friday, you will gladly donate $10 to the club. And I know like today it doesn't seem like why would we do that? But remember last weekend we had like 10 extra people come in. It makes the Union League Club have to struggle. You know, it was people, you know, they had to find extra meals, they had to find extra chairs. They had to find extra chairs, had to seat people. And so we just want to be considerate. And so, as a person who works in hospitality, it's very hard day of when someone walks in and goes, "Oh, we have an extra 20 people. Can we have an extra 10 people. Can we just get them seated and it's supposed to be okay?" And I know we think, "Oh, they have a big restaurant here. It's not a big deal." It still is a big deal, even with that, because they've already prepped everything, they've already done everything. So we just want to be considerate of our hosts, because they also do help us host here, and to the staff, and not to have to make the staff scramble around to make everyone feel, because they give us great service here, and let's just be considerate of that. Job one, we have our job fair this evening at Cafe Chow on 939 West Madison. If any of you all would like to come out and meet our wonderful students, maybe give them a mock interview at the job fair also, we would love to have you. And then donate to the Rotary Foundation and to the Rotary One. Sorry, to the Rotary Foundation. So we're coming to the end of the Rotary year, and we have really been lacking in our donations, over the past couple of years. And I understand it's rough for everybody. We have a lot, but we can't do the things that we do if we don't donate to the foundation and to the Rotary One Foundation. The money we get for our communities, for all the things that you'll hear about next week, comes from our donations to Rotary One. And then all the work that we do in our International Service Committee, that comes from our donations to the Rotary Foundation back in DDF funds, district designated funds, that gets matched by international. But like, we have $2,000 coming next year, and that's so historically low for our club, and because that's a portion of what we gave. So we really need to try to step up and close out this year great, as long as we get it in by the end of June, so that we have a great year in 3 years, because we just can't do the things that we do if we don't get. And Calgary, so 2024 conference is over, so they roll right into 2025. So let's all join Nancy in Calgary next year and have a great time. Some of us are probably gonna take a train ride up there. You know, there's the Rocky Mountain Mountaineer. You can jump on in Washington and take a beautiful train ride up to Canada, and then go to the convention, or the other way around, however you want to do it. But we're close to home, so we want everybody to try to get together and go. And it's a great way to meet one of our sister clubs, Tokyo West. We have a dinner or a lunch with them every year at the international conference, and I would love for us to show up the way they show up. They show up like 20 deep, and we show up like 3. We had 5. See, we're bringing it up. See, are we in Singapore? So, you know, let's put that on our calendars for next year. Is at the end of June. Rotary Means Business, first Monday of the month, also at Cafe Chow. We would love to have you all come back. Although next month is July 1st, and it's going to be the 4th of July weekend, so I think we might skip July, because I don't think I'm actually here. How did I think about it? Every Friday, we have the round table on the 4th floor. Richard and Ted are usually some of our regulars there, so come on out and have lunch with them and just network and have friendship. And if you have any speaker recommendations, please reach out to the office or Eric Kemple, and we can let you know of any speaker requests. Sarah, was there something did you need to talk about?
No, I just want to plug the Square Root Festival, because if
we sign up to volunteer for that, if we get 10 people, we get money back. And so only having 3, you only need 7 more. And it doesn't mean
Come
that it's
on.
necessarily Rotarian. Like if
Exactly.
you and your spouse want to do it, you just have to put Rotary Club of Chicago in the whatever line that is.
Yeah, that's your organization line. Just put in your
Yeah,
organization.
so I'd really like to do that, and they have a lot of different options, like I'm working the admission store, right? Someone who doesn't drink doesn't need to be behind the bar, and you're like, I don't know what this is, so like, I'm not doing that, so I'm working the door, because I do know how to take money. So that, and then also, I don't have anyone yet signed up for the art kit on Monday, June 17th, whatever that Monday is. If there's anybody who can do that, please let me know, because otherwise I have to tell them nobody's coming. No one. So if anyone in the room, perhaps.
Would like to sign up.
It's in the medical district. The location
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in the medical district. I can't remember.
Snow
exactly.
City, Snow City Arts.
It's in the evening. Yeah, we've got Spectrum Family Law, like I'm doing that one, this one. I don't have anybody who has signed up for that. And so I got an email today, and they were like, hey, how many of you are coming? And I was like, 0. So if anyone can do it, please let me know. Otherwise, I can tell them they can't do it.
And it was a great time last year. We just kind of sat around and played some music and made fun of each other and how badly we cut out animals off the sheet of paper. But you know, we cut out animals and different things and they put it in a kit and then they take it to the kids who are in the hospital for art therapy while they're in the hospital and they get to make their own little art kits and stuff. And so, you know, it's the little things that we can do to help in our community. So
Yeah, and it's in the evening. I know a lot of our service projects are in the morning or during the day, but that one's in the evening, so, yeah.
squirrels. It's over 3 days. You don't have to go every day. You know, the Jesse White thing is the same weekend. We mostly do things in the morning. You could do this in the evening or vice versa. But, you know, let's all come out. Every volunteer hour gets cash donated. We're a service club, guys. Let's start doing some service in our community. I mean, not that we don't do great stuff, but let's do some hands-on service. And with that, if we could all stand for the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. And number 4. And number 5, will it be fun? And with that, I adjourn the meeting. Picture time.